Hey guys, Rath here with the DFS Minute for tonight, May 12th, Tuesday night. Looking forward to this night. Got some plays we're going to hit you up with. Going to try to keep it short and sweet. Hit you with the pitchers, hit you with the bats that I like tonight, and then maybe a couple of stacks that I think most guys are going to be on. So it's kind of a chalky night. Pitching is tough, as Benny and Josh talked about earlier, so you definitely have to dig in the analysis today. And I know we did a lot of extra work today on pitching, trying to really figure out what direction to go in, because the top price guys have some question marks, and then some value guys do have some question marks as well. But I think, it's always best to, if you're not quite sure, pay a little bit less for guys at home that are favored in low-scoring games. Take your chances, and then hope that some of the bats come through. And I think there's some good bats tonight that can make up for the pitching. So let's get into the pitching quickly. Talked about it earlier in the chat on rotocurve.com. I think the guys that I'm going with that I feel the safest tonight are Jake Arrieta and AJ Burnett. Those are the guys that I feel the safest about tonight. So as far as head-to-heads and 50-50s, those are going to be the two guys I'm looking at, and they're at the top of my list. The other guys I did consider was Colin McHugh, but the Giants really don't strike out that much, so that's a situation where I'm not on McHugh, even though he was favored and he's got a good projected run differential tonight. I do think Houston could have put up some runs against Heston, but it just, you got to pick the top two. Arrieta and Burnett are the plays. Now on tournaments, earlier in the day, somebody in our chat mentioned Balsinger, and I said, wow, that's kind of risky. Can this guy get 6 innings tonight? And as I look at it more and more, I'm starting to think yes. And if he can get me 6, then he's a play, because at the price that he's at, he's extremely cheap across the board, and he does make for a good tournament play. You definitely want to pair him with an upside guy. You may even you could go McHugh, you could go Burnett, you could go Arrieta, I think, with any of these guys. But I think Balsinger's in play. He's a heavy favorite, and the Dodgers do hit right-handed pitching well, especially at home. So they could have a lead, and Balsinger could be in line for the win. As if he gets the win, then it's just some added points. But looking at just a floor play, hopefully he gets the 6 innings that you need. Maybe he can get you 4 strikeouts, keep the runs to a minimum, hopefully not walk the ballpark. But it looks like he's a guy that you can put in. The other guy that I'm looking at on tournaments is Ruby De La Rosa. I talked about him earlier in the chat, and really he's only got to worry. He's got to worry about Span and Bryce, obviously, who are pretty hot. But he's been elite against right-handed bats, and the Nats' right-handed bats, other than the other night, haven't really been that great. He's been pretty good at home. He gets a lot of strikeouts, and I think at the price, you just got to look at him. I mean, in tournaments, you're looking for strikeout upside. And I think De La Rosa is a guy that does provide that. So I will have some shares of De La Rosa, and I will have a couple of shares of Balsinger as well. So those are 2 guys I'm looking at for tournaments. Let's get on to the bats. I think you got some good options tonight. Catcher, there's actually 4 guys I think you can roll with, but I'm going to give you the 2 that meet the top of the board for me. Derek Norris is the number 1 guy for me at 3.4, going against Paxton, hitting second. Again, quoting a salary from DraftKings, but again, I think you can play him pretty much anywhere. Derek Norris hitting second against the lefty Paxton. Got to like the line of spot. Love Norris. Crushes lefties. Don't really care about the ballpark, because I'm looking at a guy who's going to hopefully get some doubles tonight, and that's what I'm looking at here. So Norris hitting second. The guy that just jumped off the board to me, I was looking at Vogt, was looking at Przynski, but Willen Rosario hitting 6th against C.J. Wilson. This is a tournament play for me. And it could be a very sneaky tournament play. He is hitting 6th, and he's extremely cheap. So definitely look at Rosario as a tournament play. Now, what I'm going to do is look at Vogt now. Instead of at catcher on DraftKings, I'm going to look at him as a cheap play at first base, because he is 3.9. But the guy I'm absolutely locked in on at first base, the top play of the day, is Joey Votto going against Fultonwitz. And got to like where he is in the lineup, hitting 3rd. So get a nice premium there. And good price, 4.5 on DraftKings compared to some of the other first basemen who are around 5K plus. I think you get a really good value on Joey Votto in this spot. You get a good matchup, you get a good lineup spot. So Votto would probably be the number 1 or number 2 bat for me of the day. Second base, Pedroia or Cano, I think are the options. Close salary difference. I'm actually going to go Cano. I had a little bit of salary room. I'm going to go Cano. I like the lineup spot a little bit better, and I do like Cano more in cash games. He's extremely consistent, and he is starting to heat up a little bit. So gonna go with Cano in the cash games tonight. Third base, I'm locked in on Manny Machado at 4.5 on DraftKings. Absolutely got to take him hitting leadoff tonight, going against Mark Burley in a very nice matchup. So Manny Machado is probably the number one guy on the board for me. Value play, Kyle Steger would be a guy that you can look at, but I think Machado is a guy that you're going to roll with pretty much across the board tonight. Shortstop, it's a little bit tough. I don't really like it. I don't like Hanley right now. I'm not sure he's 100%. I don't like the matchup with, Tulo going against C.J. Wilson. C.J. Wilson's actually been pretty good. It's a pitcher's ballpark. Tulo on the road, not great. You know what? But I am going to roll with Tulo here. I think I can go with either guy. I don't feel great about either guy. I think they get good split differentials, but neither one of them is really swinging a hot stick. My concern with Hanley is that he's not 100%. So with that being said, I'm just going to roll with Tulo and hopefully get a 12 or a 10 out of him tonight and break even. In the outfield, going to give you a couple of options. I think that really tighten it up a little bit is Adam Jones is probably the number one guy for me in the outfield, and maybe number one or number two overall. I think between him and Votto and then Machado too. Really like Adam Jones tonight at 4.3 hitting third. Value play is Delman Young. If you believe in BVP, he's got a really good one, but he's got a really good matchup as well, and he does crush left-handed pitching. Greg Polanco hitting leadoff at 4.3 against a righty. Got to like that, and you got to get a lot of at-bats, and I think the Pirates could potentially against Sean O'Sullivan tonight. That game could get out of hand. So if the Pirates bats are going to wake up, it's probably going to be tonight, and I want a piece of Polanco who can get on base, who can steal bases, and then get driven in by the guys behind him. The other guy I like and is gotta love the price on this guy tonight is Josh Reddick hitting third, 3.7, going against Justin Masterson, who struggles against left-handed bats, one of the worst pitchers in the league against lefties. So I think you got to get a piece of Vogt and Reddick tonight for sure, and then you got to get a couple of those Oriole guys in there, and then mix and match some of the other plays that we talked about. So that's all we got for tonight. I want to wish everybody the best, and as we always say here, Roto Curve, stay classic DFS.